Kevin with Space Cadets here. Simple instructional video on how to terminate Ethernet cable. So this is a plain Jane basic Ethernet cable. This is Cat6A, and I'm going to go over two ways to terminate an Ethernet cable. We're going to start with the traditional RJ45 jack. Now, most folks have seen these. Kind of look like a bigger phone jack. And you'll see here at the end there's 8 little gold pieces, in essence, little connectors. That's what's going to actually terminate this. To do this, we need a few basic tools. We need something to be able to strip the wire. Now, this is a common tool. Alternatively, you can also use something like this, which will work really well. All you need is a simple device to be able to get the sleeve off of the cable. You're going to need your RJ45 jack itself and some type of crimping tool. So there are two main types of RJ45 terminators. There's what's known as pass-through, which is what this is. This is a pass-through RJ45 jack. This is a pass-through crimping device. You can also get some that don't pass through. If you haven't bought your equipment, I would recommend, if you're going to do more than just a few of these, to get a pass-through set of RJ45s and the crimping device, because it is a lot easier and helps prevent errors when you're doing it. We're going to start with our Cat6 cable and do a few quick loops with our cutter, and then we're going to just take off this outer sheath. Now, keep this around, and then we're just going to take these, pull them down. This has this little interior cable plastic guard. This is Cat6A. Anything Cat6 and above, you might see something like that, but not all cables have those, particularly if you're working with Cat5, Cat5e, you probably won't see that. You'll also notice these are twisted pretty tight together. But we're going to take that piece that we had earlier, and we use that to just spin this down here, and it helps just get these untwisted. There's two coloring schemes, and I'll put these up on the screen. This crimper actually has a nice little reference. I always use the T568B as opposed to the T568A wiring. You just want to make certain that on both sides of your cable you're going to be using the same standard. It's just a different sequencing of the wires. And so for me, it's going to be, I do mine looking at the bottom of the jack, striped orange, then striped green, and this is where it gets a little goofy, because then you switch from green to blue, solid blue, then striped blue, then the other full solid green, then striped brown, and then brown. So you got to get that sequence correct, and then you want to kind of start to straighten these out. It's generally easy, is once you've got it done, you're going to kind of tighten this up a little bit. Again, make certain we get the right order. And then once we do, I'm just going to come in with this crimper, this cutter, excuse me, and now I get a nice, clean, pretty straight sequence. Put that back together. And then here's where the beauty of the pass-through connectors, and I used to not use these, and I'm very glad I've got a new set of equipment, because these are much, much easier. I'm just gonna get this in the right order, and then you gotta push straight on. Now this may not always work the first time, that's all right. You know, if you don't get everything in, just take it off, straighten it out again a little bit, and then give it another go. But you want to keep that sequencing, and you want to try and push all of them and push from the back so that you get these to come through. And here we go. Now, this didn't come through in the right sequence. It's a little hard to tell, but I've got two striped ones on the left-hand side, so I'm just going to take that off. Looks like my orange, my green and white got mixed up there. make certain I've got the right sequence. And again, just come in. You want to try and keep that sequencing in the plastic, and then push from the back. All right. And so now you can see all of the solid colors are on the bottom. All of the white stripes are actually coming out slightly above. And then you want to get this plastic sheath back here into this area. You'll see there's actually a little piece of plastic here. And when you do the crimping, it actually is going to grab onto that plastic sheath. So best practice is to get that sheath all the way into the connector like this. And then we're just going to take our terminator. You'll notice one side, see it says trim here, has these blades. That's going to be, you want this end coming through to that part. I'm going to slide this in here, and I can see it all on the other side. And then I'm just going to do my crimp. And get a nice clean termination at the end. And just like that, we've got a terminated Ethernet cable. Now you can get little sleeves to put on the end of these, can help in terms of if there's a lot of pulling on it, can make it look a little bit nicer, but perfectly good Ethernet cable.